Hello and welcome to our MSC Preziosa vlog series. In this episode, we go through all of the options on the best way into Bruges. We take to the water, but not on a cruise ship, and find out what White Night is all about on MSC Preziosa.
Well, exciting day today because we are in Bruges. Well, not quite Bruges.
Nope, Zeebrugge. So we docked around about 8 o'clock this morning. Unfortunately, it woke us both up because the ship was rocking so much. But apart from that, it's been quite a nice little morning. So we headed to the buffet for breakfast. I decided to have something a little bit different today, and I went for pancakes, waffles with a bit of Nutella and some pineapple, just to get one of me 5 a day in.
One. Yeah, I had tried beans and with bacon and toast, but none of it was particularly nice, so I didn't end up eating very much of it at all, really.
So after a quick breakfast, we sat in our usual spot at the aft of the Inca/Maya buffet, because we've now realised that one side's called Inca buffet and the other's called Maya.
Yeah.
So we sat right at the aft, ordered a couple of lattes, premium lattes that are included in our drinks package.
Yeah, although it is quite difficult to get a latte because the service is very slow in the buffet, and if you went up to the bar area, it's very slow there as well. So either way, it's very slow. And
it doesn't help that the buffet is absolutely rammed. It's so busy first thing in the morning, especially on a port day, because everybody, like us, wants to get off and explore.
We had our breakfast and we did just that. We headed off the ship and into Zeebrugge port itself. You have to get a coach from the ship to the terminal, which is about 2 minutes.
And free,
because it's an industrial port. You can't just wander around yourself. But from the terminal building itself, you then can choose several ways to get into Bruges.
So Zeebrugge is an industrial port. It's a little town, not a lot going on, but as Tom just said, there are lots and lots of sort of transport options. The main three that people have used to sort of get into Bruges would be tram, bus or train. So the first tram stop is only around about 5 minutes away from the port on foot, and it's opposite a little spa. Spa shop, not a luxury relaxing spa shop. If you wanted to do that, you could buy a ticket for €7.50 per adult, which means you get onto the tram and then get off the tram in Blankenberg, and then in Blankenberg get a bus from there into Bruges.
Or train.
Not with your $7.50.
Not with your no, you have to pay extra for the train. But most people tend to get the tram into Blankenberg, then pay extra for the train to get into Bruges.
And that can take up to an hour. So myself and Tom were like, there's got to be a quicker way. 20 minutes on foot from the entrance to the cruise terminal, you'll get to
Zeebrugge-Dorp
train station. And from there you can get a direct train into Bruges that only takes 20 minutes and cost
€6.50 per person
for a return trip.
But that train is only once an hour. You need to get your timings right to get that train.
And that's exactly what we did. We walked to that train station, bought our tickets on the platform because there's a little machine, and we're lucky enough to get on the train.
20 minutes walk to the train station, 17 minutes on the train, and you're in Bruges Central train station. Very, very easy to do, although not obvious how to get to these places unless you look them up really
in advance.
The trains were a really modern, fantastic way to travel into Bruges. Like we said, we got off at Bruges Central, and it's about a 10-minute walk from the train station into the city centre.
Bruges is a beautiful medieval town or city. Really did give us feels of like Salisbury and Winchester
in the
UK if you've ever been. Really, really pretty. Pebble dashed paths and roads. What?
Not pebble dashed.
What do you call it then?
Cobbled.
What's pebble dash then?
Like you spray up new water.
Oh, right. Yeah, cobbled pavements and roads, very, very, you know, you knew it was an ancient medieval town, just as
lots
we were
of
walking
history
into
there. Yeah. There is quite narrow streets, very quaint looking buildings, and lots of chocolate shops, as you would expect. And these chocolate shops aren't cheap. We went in quite a few, didn't we? And they are not cheap. Beautiful artisan chocolates, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
But
very expensive.
Quite expensive. It all depends. If you want a souvenir, I'd say buy a few chocolates, but they're not chocolates you could be eating every day, are they?
No. There's also a lot of canals in Bruges and numerous boat trips that passed us by as we were walking around.
Yeah.
And we decided to do one of those just a little bit later on.
Yes. So first things first, we walked around the street just to get our bearings where we were, and we came across a couple of really nice squares where there's lots of action going on. And just before we got to the second square, we popped into McDonald's for a coffee, didn't we? We were mainly because we needed the toilet and we wanted somewhere we could find easily for and cheaply, because everywhere in Bruges you have to pay for the toilet.
You do.
Apart from in McDonald's, because on the receipt they give you the code to be able to use their toilet. So we bought a latte each.
And a speciality, a Belgium special, McDonald's special, which was some a small portion of chips, cheese and bacon.
Yeah, chips, cheese and bacon.
And one of their specialty burgers. Expensive.
Not worth the price.
So the coffees we ended up with were tiny.
I think if you had like an espresso in the UK,
that's the cup it came in.
It was about this big, wasn't it? The cup was.
Yeah.
We looked at each other and we're like, "Where's the rest?" One mouthful and we
was
finished.
gone.
So. But never mind.
Yeah.
The square we went to after McDonald's was the main square in Bruges, and it had a town hall, a couple of churches and various historic buildings, a museum there as well. But a couple of those you can get in for free. First one we went in was a church, which was really nice. Medieval style church, yeah.
Built in the 1500s, so it was really, really sort of old and interesting.
Yeah. And then the second one, we headed up some stairs and came to another church, which was above the other church that we've just spoken about. But this one had something very special inside.
Yes, it was blood of Christ.
Yeah, holy blood, they said.
Yeah, holy blood.
You can go in there for free, and you take it in turns, and you file past
this vial.
Yeah, it's like a canister, isn't it, of the holy blood, which is quite interesting. So something to do.
We weren't allowed to take any photos of it.
No photos of the holy blood, but it is an interesting experience to do.
Yeah,
so,
and apparently they have some festival where they celebrate it once a year.
Yeah, I think that lots go on in the square. From there we then took a walk through a few more of the streets, past a couple of shops, and at that point we decided to do our canal tour.
So the canal tour cost us €12 each.
Yeah.
It was only 35 minutes, but it just took us round some of the more interesting and
historical sites in Bruges.
We went under some really, really sort of low bridges where
like
everybody sort of had to duck. If you didn't see it come in, it'd give you quite a nasty bump.
Yeah. But I'd recommend one of these boat tours. It's a great way of finding some points of interest around Bruges that perhaps you wouldn't get if you were just wandering around by yourself.
Yeah.
It's a nice little way, something different. So we went from a huge cruise ship to a tiny little boat where we felt we were about that far from the waterline.
One interesting fact that the tour guide on the boat told us was that Belgium doesn't have many swans. Pretty much most of them live in Bruges.
Yeah.
And it was quite a spectacle because there are lots of tourists just taking photos of swans. And myself and Tom were just like,
swan.
It's a swan.
Yeah. But who knows?
Who knows?
There's not many apparently in Belgium. After we got off our boat trip, we had a lovely little walk past some of these sites that we'd seen on the boat trip and made our way back towards the central train station.
As we said at the beginning, these trains, as much as it was really easy and quick, they were hourly.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to get, not so much stranded in Bruges, but we just wanted to leave in plenty of time so we could obviously enjoy the rest of
the afternoon.
So we headed straight back to the train station again. Didn't take us long. We
No.
used our lovely Google Maps to sort of direct us in the right way.
Easy.
We went over the Kissing Bridge, or Kissy Bridge he called it.
Yeah, Kissing Bridge.
So it's quite a popular wedding photo place where the bride and groom, or groom and groom, bride and bride will go and just take some romantic photos on their wedding day.
Yeah.
And it was very popular, that
Very
tiny
popular,
little bridge.
and you're all trying to squeeze on to get a photo, but quite nice to see. So headed straight back to the train station there, waited a couple of minutes, perhaps 5-10 minutes for the train to arrive. We got on the train because the train arrived early, sat there for about another 10 minutes and then off we went.
We were back on the boat on, I shouldn't say boat because it is a
On
ship.
the ship. Back on the ship within an hour, weren't we?
What's the difference between a ship and a boat then?
You can put a boat on a ship, but you can't put a ship on a boat.
We were back on board Preziosa, 4 o'clock-ish.
4 o'clock. We came back to the room then.
Dropped off our stuff and
Yeah.
we were both really, really hungry. So we went out to the Inca/Maya buffet just to have a little snack.
A couple of snacks. weren't
And
we?
a drink because we were both really, really thirsty.
Yeah.
So I had a pint of Heineken. Again, bar service, table service in the buffet, which is fantastic when you can get
Yeah.
served. And obviously that late mid-afternoon,
Good
good
time
time
to go.
because hardly anybody was in the buffet.
Back to our room again after that, and we got ourselves ready because tonight is White Night.
Both myself and Tom really excited. We took part. We both had our white outfits on.
Yeah.
And we were really, really looking forward to this because
Yeah.
obviously last time we experienced an MSC White Night was on Virtuosa just after the COVID pandemic. So social distancing, there were no large crowds, so it was a very, very different
It felt like
experience.
we were wandering around in a ghost town, really, didn't we? So for White Night.
For White Night, yeah, and since the pandemic, we've seen things on social media, on YouTube, and White Night's supposed to be MSC's party night. So we were really, really looking forward to it. So our evening started off by going down to Golden Lobster on deck 5 for dinner, which was lovely.
Yeah.
And we got there at 7, and because we got anytime dining, we just walked straight in, sat down at our regular table, and our lovely waiters were there ready to greet us.
For starter, I had fish and polenta. I didn't like it at all. I had about 2 or 3 mouthfuls and thought, no, this is not for me. It wasn't tasty at all. So it was meant to be battered white fish, but it just didn't taste very nice.
You didn't eat
Not
it.
a good way to start, no.
For my starter, I had the salad, and it had something in there that was surimi. Now, I have no idea what it was, and I did ask, and the impression I got, it was like a floury bread type dough, but I'm sure it was fish. It had the same sort of texture as crab. So I think it was some type of crustacean.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not a big seafood lover, so I ate the salad, but I did leave the surimi.
We did have a side of bread though. You had a seeded roll, and we both had some tomato focaccia.
Yeah, so it's good to note that on MSC, every day they have a different style of bread.
Yeah.
Not so much style, but different flavours. Like one night you'll have rosemary and thyme focaccia, another night you'll have cheese. Last night we had sun-dried tomato focaccia, and it's just really, really nice that you get these different sort of breads every day, and you'll see them on the menu.
And then for our main, I had the prime rib of beef. Again, I'd describe it as just okay. It didn't set the world on fire, did it really? It was just okay.
And I had the herb crusted pork chop, which came with a bit of mashed potato, and yeah, the pork was lovely. It was like a, what do you call them, schnitzel? Yeah, it was really, really nice. I really enjoyed it. I didn't really eat much of the sort of accompaniments that came with it, but the pork was absolutely delicious. During our main meal, we were once again treated to another fantastic napkin art display. The team members in the Golden Lobster are absolutely fantastic and equally super talented.
So for dessert, I was going to have the raspberry cake, but our waitress talked me out of it and instead insisted that I try the gâteau opera. So I did, and it wasn't great really. You had the raspberry dessert, and I wish I'd have had that because that was actually much tastier, wasn't it?
It was beautiful actually. We did swap halfway through, so we had half each.
Yeah.
And I've got to agree, the gâteau opera
It wasn't the best.
No, it just had a funny texture to it. But yeah,
There we go.
yeah. But all in all, it was a pretty good dinner. We had our regular bottle of wine.
So
A regular glass of wine.
Or
two. And that is Barlow. And I'll put the name in the description. It's really, really nice.
after dinner, we headed straight to the theatre for tonight's show. Tonight's show was called Wake Me Up.
Wake Me Up.
And it was basically a usual rendition of various upbeat songs by all the cast. No theme tonight, which was great news. It was just song after song, and that worked much better, we found.
Absolutely, really enjoyed the show. I don't think it was good as the Rocket show, but it was really, really enjoyable. Just a medley of different songs, no story, no plot, something we could all sort of dance in our seats to. And they did actively encourage people to stand up and dance during the performance as well.
I don't think anybody did.
No, they didn't, but they did say, right, get up
and dance, So.
And it was a good performance. After the show then in the theatre, we then hurried over to the Safari Lounge where White Night, well, the epicentre of White Night, shall we say. That's where everything was sort of going down. So we thought, right, get there quick. Get a seat.
Yeah, and it wasn't too busy at all when we arrived, was it? It was quite quiet.
Yep, got a seat straight away in our usual spot, right at the front.
Yeah, and they had a duo on singing when we arrived, which was quite nice. And then shortly after, they started the White Night dance lesson. So a little bit different to the usual dance lesson, where they just do one dance, teach the dance, and then perform it to music at the end. They basically put the music on and kept changing tracks and doing different dances, learning different dance techniques. The previous night, I had promised, didn't we?
Yeah, you did.
Promised that we would join in, so I got up and
danced the night away. For an hour. It was about an hour. It was quite a long dance lesson, actually.
Yeah.
But you enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it, but I was boiling hot.
You were.
I was sweating, but it was fun. It was definitely fun to do, join in.
And the dance teachers there, they're both from Brazil, and they are brilliant.
They are
really,
brilliant.
really good.
Good teachers. After the dance lesson, it was more White Night partying with the entertainments team, where again they were doing more dancing. So,
it was dancing. The entertainment team were dancing, trying to encourage other people to get up and dance.
Yeah, so it was just mainly dancing all night.
It was just a disco party.
Yeah, it was okay. The numbers on the ship are getting less. It didn't feel particularly
party atmosphere.
And I don't know whether because maybe on the Fantasia-class ships that they have that central street type of thing, Galleria, where people get together and it feels more of a party atmosphere rather than in Safari Lounge, but it just didn't come together as I think we thought it was going to, did it?
It was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, but we didn't finish our night there though.
We did stay in Safari Lounge until 11, and then we thought, right, let's just go up to the buffet, grab ourselves a little snack.
Then headed upstairs to the Galaxy Disco, where we had got chatting to some of our fellow passengers that we'd met earlier in the day, which was really nice to speak to. So hello if we sat there chatting with you. It was really nice to speak to you. We probably did that for a good few hours, didn't we?
We did. It was a late night.
Chatting and having a few cocktails.
The weather by now had taken a pretty bad turn.
Oh, it was horrific. It was horrific.
The rain was literally whipping down. You could see
lashing
it back,
down,
lashing down, whipping down. It was just smashing against the windows and the ground. It was really, really, really rainy.
Yeah. After a few, maybe too many drinks in Galaxy Disco, we then thought it was time to head to bed. No time for a casino tonight, we were far too tired. And that was the end of our night.
So we went back to the room because tomorrow we're in the beautiful French port of
Le Havre.
Neither of us have been before, and it'll be interesting, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching our Day 6 vlog on MSC Preziosa. If you've got any comments, just pop them in the box below and we'll get back to you.
And please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thanks for watching. Bye. Thanks for watching. We've got lots more content available on our YouTube channel, so press that subscribe button. If you're interested in receiving daily updates, we're available on most social media platforms. Just search for Tom and Dom Travel.